Okay, so here with polynomial addition and subtraction, we have got 4v squared minus 7v minus 6 plus 3v squared minus 5v plus 1. So the important thing to do on these is going to make sure that we are adding, because if we are subtracting, there's some work we'll have to do. And I'll show you how to fix that when we do one that's subtracting, but for now we are adding. And so the next piece for us is to go through and find like terms. And so like these v squareds are considered a like term, these v's are considered a like term, and these straight up numbers are considered a like term. And one thing that's helpful to me is if I bubble them in with the sign in front of them, because it helps me see whether or not I'm dealing with a positive number or a negative number. And so I'll do that from here forward. And so I do see that I have 4v squared and 3 more, so that's going to make 7v squared. Negative 7v and negative 5v is going to be negative 12v, and negative 6 plus 1 is going to be negative 5. So we got 7v squared minus 12v minus 5. Okay, we'll try another. This time we do have subtraction, so there's going to be something that we need to do right out of the gate here to help us make sense of this. We have a negative x squared plus 5x minus 7 minus 3x squared plus 2x plus 6. Now the common mistake that most students are going to make here is they are going to write negative 3x squared because of that minus sign in front, and then plus 2x plus 6. That is not correct, and we need to do something different. So what we need to recognize is that really what's happening here is that there is a negative 1 right there being multiplied by everything in the parentheses to the right. And so I'm going to rewrite everything on the right with that negative 1 applied to it. So the negative is basically going to switch signs. And so in the case of all three of these, they are positive, so they are all three going to become negative. So negative 3x squared, negative 2x, negative 6. And the front piece is going to remain the same that it was, negative x squared plus 5x minus 7. And so we can think of this like addition now. And so I like that we basically got rid of that negative 1, and we're adding these two things together now. So a negative 3x squared and a negative x makes a negative 4x squared. A 5x and a negative 2x makes a positive 3x. A negative 7 and a negative 6 makes a negative 13. Okay. And I'm going to see if I can find a subtraction one that has a negative number behind it there, so we can make sure we get that covered. Most of these are addition. That's nice. Okay, there's a negative with a negative inside, so we'll deal with that. We do have 3w squared plus 4 minus w squared minus 5w plus 7. And I forgot to bubble in my stuff on the last one. I'll pause in a moment and do that so that it's there for the answer key. That negative right there is really a negative 1 being multiplied by all that stuff in the parentheses to the right. So we will have 3w squared plus 4. We're making that negative 1 distribute to the right, so it's going to be addition of a negative w squared. Negative 5w times negative 1 becomes flat positive 5w, and positive 7 times negative 1 becomes negative 7. So As I did in the earlier one, I'm going to go ahead and bubble in the things that match. I forgot to do that on the last one. Just helps me see what I'm dealing with. So that 5w is the only w out of all of them. And this -7 and this +4 will be added together. So we have a 3w minus 1w is going to be 2w squared. Sorry, a 3w squared minus a w squared is a 2w squared. The +4 right there is going to come last. We do have a 5 plus 5w first. +4 and the -7 is going to make a -3. Okay, and we'll do one more. We'll do another one that doesn't have the same number of things in there like this one. So in this case, we don't have a v squared in the one on the left. And so we do have 4v minus 5 plus, oops, it's a minus v squared minus 3v minus 5. And so the only v squared is right there. Let's start with that one. We do have a positive 4v here and a negative 3v there. I'm actually going to undo these colors because I'm going to deal with that negative sign first. So that's really a -1 being multiplied by all that stuff on the right. So let's rewrite it to be addition. -1 times v squared is negative v squared. -1 times -3 is positive 3v. -1 times -5 is positive 5. So now that we've distributed that negative sign, we can go ahead and see that we have a negative v squared, a 4v with a 3v, and then a -5 and a positive 5. So in this case, we're going to start with v squareds. We do have negative v squared. The 4v and the 3v are going to make 7v. And the -5 and the positive 5 are going to make 0. So we don't even need to write them. So we get negative v squared plus 7v. All right, and that's it for this video.